The hardest part was watching my wife get ready for an evening with her boss, Ethan Brooks. She chose clothes that were clearly meant to impress, spent extra time on her makeup and hair, and slipped into a dress and high heels I'd never seen her wear before. It was like she was preparing for a night out with someone special, and it wasn't me. I couldn't help but feel betrayed, jealous, and frustrated. She was doing all of this for him, not for me, even though I worked tirelessly to support our family. It was all so confusing. Our life together was supposed to be perfect. Our intimate life was amazing. Olivia was always attentive, open, and passionate. After 20 years of marriage, I trusted her completely, except for that one night about a month ago at her company's dinner. That's when Ethan started paying a little too much attention to her. The way he looked at me after dancing with her. There was a smugness there that set off a warning bell in my head. Something about it didn't sit right with me. The feeling only grew worse the next day when I brought it up to Olivia. Her quick defense of Ethan only confirmed what I had feared. Then, things started to change. Late meetings, missed lunches, they all started to stand out to me in a way they hadn't before. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. Olivia works directly for Ethan as his personal assistant. Ethan, a managing partner at a prestigious law firm, has made a name for himself flaunting his wealth, his expensive cars, flashy jewelry, and his much younger trophy wife, Lila. She's 30, extremely attractive, and the replacement for his ex-wife of 20 years. Ethan loves making jokes at other people's expense, and I'll never forget the time he mocked my job during one of our walks. I sell screws and fasteners to large retailers. Not the most glamorous career, but I make over $200,000 a year, providing a comfortable life for my family. I've always given Olivia everything she's asked for, and I even paid for our daughter Maya's college education. Maya's now in her second year. We live in a lovely community with great friends and a lifestyle that suits us. Sure, I wasn't some high-powered executive making millions like Ethan, but we were happy, or at least I thought we were. Then that night at dinner, Ethan made fun of my job, mocking me in front of my wife and others. That didn't sit well with me. It wasn't just his arrogance, but also the fact that Olivia laughed along with him, defending him when I tried to explain how much it bothered me. When he asked, "So, Lucas, how's it going with the nuts and bolts? Must be fun working at Home Depot every day," I could feel my blood boil. Seeing Olivia laugh in response made my anger rise to a boiling point, and I had to leave the table in silence. To her credit, Olivia came after me and asked what was wrong. When I explained, she tried to downplay it, brushing it off with, "Oh, baby, he's just kidding. He loves to joke around. Don't take it so personally. Come on, he's really a good guy." Against my better judgment, I stayed. But looking back, I realized I should have seen the warning signs. Maybe I missed some, or maybe I was just too blinded by my trust in her. I'm not stupid. I can see why people are drawn to Ethan. He's the big guy, the strong, good-looking, wealthy alpha everyone wants to be around. Olivia was his closest ally at the firm, the one he could rely on. He had everything, including a beautiful, younger wife. But for Ethan, it wasn't enough. He wanted more, and that more was someone else's wife. Over the next week, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I acted quickly to figure out whether I was just being paranoid or if my gut was telling me the truth. I ordered 6 audio recorders and 5 video cameras, setting my plan into motion. The first camera went into the smoke detector in our bedroom. The other 2 covered different angles of the room. I placed the remaining cameras in the master bathroom and living room. All of them had live streaming capabilities and 8K recording, wirelessly connected to a computer in the attic, controlled remotely by an app. I also set up audio recorders, one hidden in a pen next to the kitchen phone and another discreetly placed in her car. I even placed standard recording devices in her favorite purses and one behind our bed. With all of this in place, I figured I would catch at least 90% of her activities and conversations around the house. The anticipation of what the next week might bring filled me with unease as I prepared for a business trip. As usual, Olivia showered me with affection before I left, making our time in bed together unforgettable. She always did that before I traveled. Lots of kisses, sweet words, and expressions of love. She was always close, always loving, and never disappointed. I love you so much, and I love making love to you. Honey, she said, her eyes welling up with tears as she smiled at me. I love you too, baby. You're amazing, and I'll love you forever. It was an unforgettable night, and I felt so incredibly close to Olivia, so deeply in love with her, that I convinced myself she couldn't possibly be unfaithful. I almost called off my plan to spy on her, but something inside me told me to stay the course. Thankfully, I left everything set up and went on my 2-night business trip that week. I wanted to give her enough time, just in case anything happened. We kissed goodbye, and by 6 p.m., I was on the road, heading out for the 3-hour drive to the hotel. The trip gave me plenty of time to think about the last 6 months. Thinking about everything I'd noticed, trying to make sense of it all, and what had really been going on between Olivia and her boss. I had 2 specific incidents to go on, his smirk and the way he tried to humiliate me. Still, nothing seemed to change. I even caught myself smiling, realizing I was probably just being foolish and paranoid. By the time I checked into the hotel and settled into my room, I was feeling a little calmer. I turned on my laptop and sprawled out on the king-size bed, just unwinding. After checking my emails for any work-related messages, I clicked on the link to the server in my attic to see the last 3 hours of footage. I wasn't expecting much, but I just wanted to test the remote access system. I sped through the footage until I saw Olivia in the bedroom. Then I slowed it down to normal speed to watch my beautiful, alluring wife making a phone call. What I didn't expect was the conversation with Ethan that followed, just an hour after I had left. The video camera picked up the audio as well. There she was, lying on the bed, talking to him. I could only hear her side of the conversation, but it was enough to shake me to my core. She mentioned that I had just left and that she was all alone. Then they discussed the timing of his visit, carefully considering how his wife might react if she found out. She was clearly excited, and when they set the details of the plan, she confirmed she would be spending the night with him. Her words were full of longing as she told him how much she wanted to wake up next to him. As they exchanged affectionate words, I sat in shock, unable to process what I was seeing. Just an hour earlier, we had made love, and now she was inviting him to spend the night. It made me question who she really was. How could she express love to me so passionately and betray me moments later? The question kept echoing in my mind. Was he coming tonight? Over the next hour, I watched my wife prepare for her lover's arrival. I saw her shower, then put on seductive lingerie, high heels, and carefully apply her makeup after spending a half-hour on her hair. It was both painful and, in some twisted way, erotic. I always knew Olivia was a passionate woman, but she had never dressed like this for me. The more I watched, the more consumed I became by anger and jealousy. She wasn't doing this for her faithful husband. She was doing it all for Ethan. The disbelief was almost too much to handle. And then the moment of truth arrived. The doorbell rang. I watched, helpless, as Ethan walked through the door and greeted Olivia with a passionate kiss. The video camera caught it all in real time. I zoomed in on their kiss, an image that made me physically sick. Ethan looked at her and said, "Wow, baby, you look incredible in that dress. I can't wait to rip it off your beautiful body and make love to you all night long." With a grin that sent a rush of fury through me. But as much as their words ignited my anger, it was what came next that broke me. I watched her take his hand and lead him into our bedroom. The pain in my chest deepened as I saw her undress him, revealing his strong, toned body. The jealousy and rage surged within me, but there was also something else, some perverse admiration for their audacity. I couldn't stop watching, even though the ache in my heart was unbearable. After I vomited for the second time, I stayed glued to the screen, unable to tear myself away as they went on with their intimate activities for the next hour. I knew in that moment that my marriage was over. I shouldn't have let it hurt me so much, but their conversation was the most painful part of the night. As they lay together, Ethan broke the silence. He pointed out that my absence meant she was completely his for the next 2 days. Olivia responded with genuine excitement, expressing how thrilled she was that he would stay the night, how long she had wanted to wake up next to him. She told him she loved being with him. Ethan, eager and full of anticipation, told her he couldn't wait to make love to her over and over again while I worked hard. At one point, she seemed to realize how ridiculous the situation was, calling it foolish. She reminded him, though, that she loved me and that I was a good person. Ethan pressed further, questioning why she allowed this affair to continue, asking why she let him be so close to her. They both agreed they should just enjoy the time they had together. Then Ethan confessed something that struck me to my core. He told Olivia that she gave him more love and affection than his wife or any woman ever had. For him, it wasn't just physical, it was emotional, too. He loved the way she made him feel. That was the part that really hurt. The love he spoke of was supposed to be mine. I continued to watch their interactions, unable to look away as they hugged, kissed, and exchanged words. In one conversation, Ethan asked Olivia if her husband satisfied her the way he did. He acknowledged that I was a great lover, but he insisted that he was different from me. He claimed that there were things she did for him that he couldn't even begin to explain. A deep sadness, hurt, and a sense of loss washed over me as I turned off the computer, unable to endure witnessing this betrayal unfolding in my own home, in my own bed. I decided I couldn't keep watching anymore. After struggling with my anger for hours, barely able to sleep, I realized that my future held nothing but pain and the pursuit of vengeance. When I came home, everything seemed normal, filled with love and respect, as if nothing had happened. Olivia greeted me with a warm hug and sweet kisses, acting as though my absence had meant nothing. But the love I once felt for her had turned to disgust, and I shuddered at her touch. Even though my mind was in turmoil, I forced myself to play the part of a husband who had no idea. I masked my feelings, trying to act as if everything was fine. I collected all the recordings and videos, saved backups to the cloud, and created an encrypted file on my computer for security. Over the next 2 weeks, I made sure to keep Olivia occupied, deliberately keeping her busy and preventing any moments for quick, intimate encounters. She even asked when my next trip was, clearly signaling her eagerness for my absence. One morning, while she was driving to work, I overheard their conversation. "When will your husband leave town again?" Ethan asked. Olivia replied, "I'm not sure, but I'll find out. It has to be soon, baby." With this knowledge, I planned a one-night trip, ensuring that Ethan would come while I was away. The plan started to take shape that same evening. As I relaxed and watched TV, my wife casually asked, "Darling, when's your next trip?" I bit back my anger, responding lightly, "Honey, are you trying to get rid of me? Do you have some secret lover who comes when I'm gone?" She gave no hint of guilt as she calmly replied, "Don't be silly. I like it when you're home. I hope you don't have to leave. Has your travel schedule been cut back?" I answered with a reassuring tone, "No, sorry, honey. I still have to travel for work. I've got an appointment next Tuesday and I'll be back sometime Wednesday." "I hate it when you leave," she said, her voice laced with sweetness. "I miss you so much when you're gone." She came over, hugged me, kissed me deeply, and made me feel more loved than I could explain. But as I felt her warmth, I realized she was giving that same affection to another man. The urge to scream and confront her nearly overwhelmed me, but I held it in. I kept my composure, knowing my plan was coming together. On Tuesday, I packed for my trip, and Olivia and I shared one final loving moment. She kissed me warmly before I left that night, and for a moment, I wondered if she noticed the sadness in my eyes when I looked at her one last time. I saw a flicker of uncertainty in her expression, but I couldn't tell what she was thinking. Instead of leaving town, I circled back to my office and parked my car. I went inside to work late, which was nothing out of the ordinary, and the few people still around didn't question my late arrival. Around 7:30 p.m., I saw Ethan enter my home in the video footage, tenderly kissing Olivia once again. The moment had arrived. Using a phone app, I turned off the video camera and hid my phone in a drawer to avoid any GPS tracking. Then, quietly, I left the office and retrieved my folding electric bike from my car's trunk. The bike, capable of speeds up to 30 miles per hour and with a range of 50 miles on a single charge, was my silent partner in this plan. Wearing a black hoodie to blend in, I rode the 12 miles back home, ensuring I wasn't noticed. The purpose of the bike was to get me home undetected. Within 20 minutes, I parked it behind the house, entered through the back sliding door, and waited, listening intently for any sounds that would give away my arrival. When I heard movement from the bedroom, I knew they were occupied and I hadn't been noticed. I quietly retrieved a short-barreled rifle and an aluminum bat from the closet, placing the rifle just outside the bedroom. I held the bat silently in my hands, preparing for what was about to unfold. As I opened the bedroom door, their noise masked my approach. Without hesitation, I walked up to the bed and delivered a hard blow to Ethan's head. The dull thud of the bat hitting him was drowned out by the sound of his massive body hitting the floor. I grabbed the rifle and turned on the light. That's when Olivia realized what was happening. "Looks like..." Olivia stammered, stunned, her voice filled with disbelief. "Oh God, no. Please, no. This can't be real. Why are you here? You should be away. Why are you in my bed with another man?" "That's a better question," I snapped, my voice cold. "Now shut up and pay attention." Ethan, semi-conscious and bleeding from a 6-inch gash caused by the bat, slumped against the wall. I kept my rifle trained on him as he groggily regained his senses. "Damn it. This hurts. Why the hell did you do that?" he groaned. "Are you serious?" I shot back. "You're having an affair with my wife in my bed, and you think I wouldn't react?" Ethan's eyes flickered nervously as he looked at the rifle I was pointing at him. "What are you going to do?" he asked, clearly scared. "Are you worried, big guy?" I taunted, watching him squirm. "Are you afraid I'm gonna hurt you? I know what you've done behind my back, and tonight it's payback. You're done, Ethan. Tonight you die." I dragged out the word die teasingly, savoring the fear in his eyes. "Everything you've built will disappear. Hope it was worth it, asshole. Dude, if you kill me, you're going to jail for the rest of your life." Ethan shouted, trying to reason with me. "Who cares about that?" I muttered, seething. "We're all gonna die tonight. How does that sound, idiot?" I wanted to see them truly scared, to feel the weight of what they had done. I wasn't planning to kill them, I just wanted to make them suffer emotionally. The pain in their faces, the fear in their voices. It fueled me. Olivia was crying, curled up on the bed, trying to cover herself, shaking with fear. "Baby, please, don't do anything stupid," she pleaded, her voice shaky. "I love you. I really do. Put the rifle down. Let's talk about this." With a twisted grin, I shifted my attention to her, aiming the rifle directly at her. "Shut up. This is your fault. You wanted all these adventures outside of our marriage. Whatever happens tonight, it's all on you." They knew they were in danger, and they were desperate to calm me down, sensing that I was on the verge of snapping. The rifle wasn't loaded with lethal rounds. It was custom-made with a mix of 25% salt and 75% pepper spray. It was designed to hurt, to inflict pain, not to kill. I wasn't stupid enough to risk my life over them. I just wanted to make them feel the consequences of their actions. As Ethan slowly recovered, he tried to lunge at me, but I was ready. I fired the first shot, and the sound of the blast was deafening. His screams were louder. He collapsed back to the floor, writhing in agony. As he lay there in pain, I calmly explained my plan, kicking him lightly to get his attention. "Listen up, both of you," I said. "I'm leaving in a few minutes. You'll take this piece of garbage to the ER before he bleeds out. You won't call the cops. You won't tell anyone I was here, or that I knew about your affair. I've got everything documented, video, audio, pictures, and if either of you opens your mouth, it'll all go public. Don't fire my soon-to-be ex-wife from her job. She'll need it after the divorce. If you try to go after me, or if she refuses the divorce, everything comes out. Get him to the hospital, and remember what I said." I left the same way I came, carefully fixing the lock and closing the door behind me. I grabbed the bat and rifle, put them in a bag, and quietly left the house. I discarded both items in different parts of the river and then biked back to my office. I parked my bike, returned to my desk, and resumed my normal routine as though nothing had happened. By the time 9 a.m. rolled around, I was on my trip, saying goodbye to some coworkers, still wearing the mask of normalcy. To everyone at the office, my car had never left the parking lot, and I had been working late into the night. If they ever tried to accuse me of anything, it would be their word against mine. No evidence to back up their claims. Ethan had surgery for the concussion I'd given him. He had to shave his head to stitch up 18 gashes, and when he was questioned, he told the police that the last thing he remembered was walking home with some paperwork. He said he had no memory of being attacked, and he kept quiet, knowing I could ruin his career and his life. Olivia, on the other hand, was deeply shaken. She didn't speak much about what had happened. All she said was that she'd heard a shot, found Ethan lying outside, and rushed him to the hospital, worried there wasn't time to wait for an ambulance. Neither of them could explain why Ethan had been undressed, but they stuck to their story. Ethan's wife, though, was suspicious, and it caused major problems for them. That afternoon, I removed all the surveillance equipment, uploaded everything to a secure, encrypted cloud server, and disposed of the equipment. All the evidence of their affair was now locked away, unreachable. By 6 p.m., Olivia came into the living room to find me sitting quietly with a bottle of good whiskey. She stood there, facing me on the couch, looking completely shattered. For a moment, I felt a flicker of pity for her. I had never seen her so broken. Her eyes were filled with tears as she spoke, trying to explain herself. "Lucas, what you saw, it was bad, I know. But you need to understand, I wasn't in love with him. I know it seemed that way and I know it hurt you. But you know me. After being close to someone, I need connection. It was all for you, baby. When you left, I couldn't stand being alone, and Ethan was there to keep me company. Yes, it got passionate, but it was just closeness. You have to believe me." My mouth hung open in disbelief at the pitiful excuse she tried to offer. "Olivia, I heard your explanation," I said, my voice laced with sarcasm. "And even though you claim those words of love were meant for me, I can't shake the feeling that they were meant for Ethan. It's over, Olivia. 20 years of my life, wasted because of your affair with your boss. And now we both have to live with the consequences of your actions. Forever. Thanks for the pain and suffering you've caused me. I'll always cherish it," I added bitterly. Tears streamed down her face as she asked, "What do we do now?" "Well, we're finished," I said, the finality in my words ringing through the room. "I'll never understand why you did this to me, or how, but now I'll have to carry this weight forever. I can't forgive you, but I'll keep my word. I won't expose your infidelity. Maya and your parents will never know what kind of woman you really are. As for you, you'll have to explain to them why we're getting divorced. But listen carefully. Don't make me the villain in this. If you try, it will end badly for you, because I'll make sure everyone knows the truth. You're nothing but a cheating adulteress. I'm selling the house," I continued, "and in the meantime, you'll need to find somewhere else to stay. Since you ruined everything, you'll move out. I'm not asking. You'll do it. Let me know where to send the divorce papers. Sign them without resistance, or I'll make sure this is painful for both you and your boyfriend." She broke down, crying into her hands, and tried to speak. "He's not my boyfriend. I don't love him. Can't we figure something out? I know it's too late now, but I can't live without you. I'll do anything to fix this. I never wanted to lose you. Please, don't leave me. Olivia, if it was just about closeness, maybe we could have fixed this through counseling or separation," I said, shaking my head. "But what really killed my love for you is that you shared a love with him that was supposed to be mine and mine alone. The words you spoke to him, the affection you gave him, destroyed everything between us. No, I'll never forget or forgive your betrayal. I don't want to see you or speak to you ever again. Once the divorce is final, you'll disappear from my life forever." After hours of pleading, she left the next morning, moving in with her parents until the house was sold. The police interrogated me that week, hoping to get me to confess. I hired a lawyer and informed them that I wouldn't answer any questions without a warrant. With no evidence and my solid alibi, they eventually dropped it. The incident was chalked up to a random burglary gone wrong. Olivia and her family repeatedly called, begging me to reconsider. They told me how much she loved me, how sorry she was, how she couldn't live without me. They pushed for counseling, but I cut them all off. I stopped answering the phone, changed my number, and severed all ties. Yes, the loss hurt. Every moment of separation was painful, but I couldn't live with her betrayal. Olivia, now a 42-year-old single mother, was left with nothing. She could barely make ends meet on her salary, living alone in a small one-bedroom apartment. The comfortable life she once had was gone. Her daughter and her family blamed her for the failed marriage. Ethan, meanwhile, focused on saving his own marriage. He was treated poorly at work, and everyone blamed him for the troubles in his personal life. Unable to continue working with Olivia, she was demoted to an administrative role. She hated the new job. It was dull, and her former colleagues treated her like a pariah, especially when rumors about her affair with Ethan started to spread. Her family rejected her, her career tanked, and she sank into depression. Every night, she cried, missing me, tortured by her own actions. Maya tried to help, but it felt hopeless. Olivia neglected her health, eating poorly and drinking too much, constantly saying she had no reason to care anymore without me. Meanwhile, Ethan's ex-wife, Lila, made sure he paid for his infidelity. She kept him around for financial support while dating younger men. Though they appeared together at events, they led separate lives. Ethan's chances of finding true love again were ruined. He would never experience closeness like that again. He would always remember the moment his life changed because he'd wanted someone else's wife. Ethan was furious with me and plotted to hurt me, but nothing came of it for months. Then, later that year, I was attacked outside a bar by a group of men. My colleagues tried to help, but the attackers fled before the police arrived. I spent 2 days in the hospital with broken ribs and 20 stitches. I was sure it was revenge for Ethan, and while I wasn't surprised, I couldn't shake the feeling that, without my friends, I might not have made it out alive. 6 weeks later, feeling much stronger, I decided to contact Ethan's office. "Mr. Brooks, please," I requested, speaking to his secretary. "I'm sorry, he's in a meeting. Can I take a message?" "Yes," I replied. "Tell him to meet me at Old One Cog this Friday, at the French deli across the street. I'm afraid I don't schedule appointments with Mr. Brooks. Would you like to leave a message?" "Write this down," I said, my voice steady. "Friday, 1 p.m. at the French deli. He needs to be there alone, Lucas. Just give him this message and he'll know what it means." "Thank you." I arrived early, sitting at a table facing the door. When Lucas walked in alone, I gestured for him to sit. "What do you want?" he asked, trying to ignore his anger. "Thanks for coming," I said, not skipping a beat. "Your people did a good job, but they didn't finish the job. By ignoring my warning, you forced me to act." I handed him a folded piece of paper. "Here's a link to a website I created just for you. It's hosted in Syria with backup servers. It's untraceable. You're finished. You'll want to check it out when you get back to your office." I deliberately left Olivia's face out of it. She shouldn't suffer for your sins, I thought. "Once you've seen the site, think about how this is going to change your life," I said. Lucas's expression darkened. "You've already ruined my life. Stop now or we'll disappear." "That's why we're here," I replied calmly. "I want to end this. You took away the most precious thing in my life, my wife. You destroyed our 20-year marriage, and I can't let you get off scot-free. I'm risking everything to do this, but I'll make sure your people's beating of me doesn't go unanswered." "Okay, calm down," he said, clearly rattled. "What do you want?" "2 things.
No negotiation.
First, you will stop any retaliation against me or anyone I know, including Olivia. Second, you will deposit $1 million into this account by the end of the day on Friday. If the money isn't in by 9 p.m. that night, I'll take action. Consider this paltry amount a gift for what you've done." Lucas was hesitant. "If I agree, how can I be sure you won't destroy me anyway?" "I'm a man of my word," I replied firmly. "But know this. If you don't follow through, There's a 100% chance that website will go viral by Saturday morning. I want you to suffer for the rest of your life for ruining my marriage. The money was transferred by Friday night. We sold the house and split the assets. Olivia was left with enough to live comfortably if she chose to continue working or remarry. As part of our arrangement, Ethan kept her employed, but their relationship was forever broken. Olivia never remarried, rarely dated, and lived with the haunting guilt of the pain she caused both men. She had lost her marriage and the love of the one man she truly wanted to spend her life with. Now she was left isolated, depressed, and alone. She died before reaching her 50th birthday, a broken woman. Her daughter, Maya, was the only one at the ceremony to scatter her ashes. Lucas continued working for several years after that. He eventually retired to a small coastal town, where he married a kind woman who appreciated him intellectually, but he could never replace the love he had with Olivia. He never spoke to her again, though he would hear updates through Maya, who he adored. They spoke every day, staying close, but Maya rarely mentioned her mother. She knew how much Lucas still loved her and didn't want to stir the painful memories. Olivia's passing saddened him, but it also brought a sense of final relief. The deep sadness he had carried for so long was finally put to rest.